Hello, and welcome to another episode of Lost in Suikoden Translation. Today, we'll be looking into another running joke in the series that was left behind during localization. As usual, this series contains spoilers, so without further ado, let's get started. In the first episode of this series, we explored the recurring joke of someone suggesting the name Orange when naming your army or headquarters, a gag present in every main game but occasionally omitted in localization. This time, we'll examine another recurring line of dialogue that keeps being lost in translation. The phrase in question is seigi no mikata, where seigi means justice and mikata means ally or supporter, making one possible translation of this phrase defender of justice. The first instance of this line appears in the original Suikoden. When Mathieu is accosted by Imperial soldiers and the player steps in to help him, the soldiers will demand to know who you are. In the English version, you're given two options. You can either say you're survivors of the rebel army, or just some good guys passing by. It's the second option that matters here. To stay closer to the original Japanese, the line would have been something like, just some defenders of justice passing by. It's a pretty innocuous line to give yourself a fun and grandiose title that could easily have just been a throwaway line, never to be mentioned again. However, in Suikoden II, Victor uses the phrase when rescuing you in Chiaro, saying, "Did anyone call for a defender of justice?" Though the official localization didn't even try to incorporate that into the translation, opting instead for a completely different line. To maintain consistency with the original Suikoden localization, they could have gone with something like, "Did someone here ask for a good guy to come save them?" But unfortunately, due to the localizers being unaware of the importance, the connection to the original game's joke was lost. The phrase would next resurface in Suikogaiden Vol.1. When Rien asks Nash why he's so desperate to save Sierra, Nash can reply that it's for the sake of justice. Rien, finding the line corny, mockingly calls Nash a defender of justice. Since Suikogaiden never saw an official release outside Japan, this line wasn't officially localized, but the fan translation did translate it correctly. It wasn't until Suikoden III that an official translation finally got it right. In this game, Ayla refers to herself and Geto's group as defenders of justice while defending Budahuk from the shadows. This declaration would be much to the chagrin of the rest of the group, but it's the only moment where the joke survived localization. The joke also makes an appearance in the collectible card game, where mission card CS2119 references the Suikoden III scene with the title Defenders of Justice. Needless to say, neither the physical card game or the Game Boy Advance game, Suikoden Card Stories, was ever officially localized. And sadly, it seems the upcoming HD remaster won't be fixing this ongoing localization issue. Promotional materials show that while Victor's line in Suikoden II has been retranslated, it still avoids mentioning Defenders of Justice or anything like it. Instead, he announces that he's just in time for a heroic entrance, once again missing the reference to the original joke. So there we have it. That's it for this episode of Lost in Suikoden Translation. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time.